During my tenure as a sociologist-ambassador to the Sol 3 system, I have encountered a paradox most curious: an intelligent species capable of constructing vast neural networks, decoding the language of matter itself, and dreaming vividly of utopias, and yet gripped by an all-consuming fear of its own kind. Humanity, the dominant sentient on Earth, does not fear the unknown alone. It fears the mirror. It fears the neighbor. It fears the inner animal and the constructed self. This essay is an attempt to understand this behavior through observation, comparative study, and quiet, very quiet empathy. Introduction: a shivering tribe under its own sun. We, the elder races of the fifth spiral arm, find kinship with new civilizations by their aspirations, how they imagine others, how they treat difference, and how they reconcile self. Humanity, despite its brilliant mind and vibrant art, stumbles on this third point with stunning regularity. They speak in sacred phrases: we the people, all men are created equal, namaste, yet move as though one another are bombs waiting to explode. At first I presumed this was an early phase species survival instinct, a relic of predatory evolution. But deeper patterns suggest something stranger, an existential recoil from what they might become, not merely what they are. 2. The mirror syndrome, an internalized threat. Among our council, we speak of harmony through multiplicity, the way diverse planetary cultures merge into functional resonance. Humanity, by contrast, exhibits what I call mirror syndrome, a cognitive fragmentation where each human suspects the species' downfall lies in the other tribe, the other class, the other ideology. Consider, no single predator stalks them across the tundras anymore. They are the apex threat. They know it. This awareness should prompt collective responsibility. Instead, it breeds paranoia and endless attempts to isolate the dangerous ones from the good. Tragically, the line is always drawn just outside of one's own skin. 3. Cultural echoes of fear. From their mythologies, where brother slays brother, gods destroy worlds, and salvation must be purchased with suffering, to their modern narratives saturated in dystopia, the human imagination obsesses over its own undoing. Even their machines, now imbued with logic and decision, are feared as extensions of themselves. Why? Because humanity knows what it has done. The forest remembers the axe. The atom remembers Hiroshima. And so the species lives not only with fear, but self-induced post-trauma at a civilizational scale. Unlike other developing species that externalize danger, natural catastrophes, alien invaders, resource scarcity, humanity internalizes its own apocalypse. The sociological paradox of progress. From a galactic sociological perspective, it is not uncommon for young species to go through periods of destructive narcissism. What is rare, however, is a species whose technological curve outpaces its emotional maturation. Earth has megaton weapons and microsecond communication, but still categorizes fellow humans by melanin, gender identity, or planetary coordinates. To us, this is akin to giving a volcanic core to a child who hasn't yet grasped fire. It is no surprise, then, that fear becomes a political currency, a media product, and even a philosophical axiom in human civilization. Trust no one. Every man for himself. Better safe than sorry. These are not survival slogans. They are cries from a species unsure if it deserves to survive. Why we watch but do not intervene. And now the question asked by many among our allied species: why engage with such a civilization at all? Why not quarantine Earth and move along? The answer is simple: because in the shadow of their fear lives something more profound than we have seen in millennia. Hope against the odds. This trembling, warlike species writes symphonies while building bombs. They cradle babies during air raids. They reach for the stars even as their cities flood. They dream of peace louder than any other world we've known. It is not that they are afraid of one another. It is that they are afraid of what they might become if they stop fearing and find out they are capable of unity. Conclusion: the long path toward unity. In time, perhaps humanity will transcend this phase of self-fear, as we did in our own distant epoch of unraveling. But unlike us, they carry poetry in their panic and art in their anguish. That alone makes them worth observing, and perhaps someday inviting to the stars. For now, we wait and watch. And remember, humanity is not yet a danger to the cosmos, only to itself. And that may be the greatest danger of all. Same. Transmission end. Seal of Envoy-Darcy, Level 7 Observer, 5th Spiral Delegation. Signed in starlight and silence.